at 9 o'clock. Appreciate it. I'm Kavita Janakuti. I'm working on a SQL data warehouse team. It's a product team. How many of you are already aware of Azure Data Warehouse? Okay, it's 50%. I have been on the team for the last 2 years, but I have been on the data technologies at Microsoft for almost 20 years. By February, I've been on various roles, support test, engineering manager, and program manager. I'll do my best to cover this session, and I'll motivate you if you are not already on the cloud and not already using the Azure Data Warehouse. We'll also have a session, a demo, towards the end or in between. My colleague Shamik is going to come here. Shamik. And he's going to be showing a way to migrate from Oracle to Azure Data Warehouse. Okay, so with that, let's get started. How many of you are on-prem data warehouses today? Okay, almost all of you. Okay. Anyone looking into moving to SQL Azure Data Warehouse? Okay, about 50%. That's good. So I would like to take a few minutes on letting you know what are the customer successful migration stories we've got. And there is actually a session at 4:30 this afternoon where we are going to be talking about many more such customer success stories, migrating from on-prem data warehouses to SQL Azure Data Warehouse. I will also drill down why customers are migrating and from where are they migrating. What are the processes and tools we got to make you all successful? And who are our partners that can help you with the migrations? And what are the top challenges and red herrings you would run into during the migration process? And also, I would like to give you the best practices as key takeaways for you to be able to implement successfully on your side. How many of you already saw this MDW slide so far? Okay, only one. So for others, let me briefly touch on this. So with Azure Data Services, like Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, Azure Storage, Azure SQL Data Warehouse, today we enable the MDW scenarios, modern data warehousing scenarios. In the past, it was on your shoulder to go extract, transform, and load before you get into the data warehousing solution, right? With these rich services that we got, it's easy for you to think of it as, hey, how do you go first ingest, then process, transform, and serve through the layers. So today, you actually have a lot of data sets that are growing at the rate at which you can't imagine. The velocity, volume, and variety of data is a lot more than ever before, right? So both structured and unstructured data can be actually pushed through ADF just into the Azure Storage or Azure Data Lake store. And you can process using Databricks today. And you clean up, you process, you transform that, and go load into the SQL Azure Data Warehouse as a serving layer. And you can have your Power BI or usual Click or Tableau or any external BI tools working on top of it. So here are the customer success stories. Anheuser-Busch has built global analytics platform on Azure, right? They are one of the largest brewing companies in the US. They have optimized their data platforms. They consolidated from multiple platforms, including on-prem appliance, you can guess what, and they have migrated to Azure Data Warehouse. And that enabled them to save about $200,000 per ship annually, right? And yet another one, Reckitt Benckiser, has empowered 40,000 employees to work smarter using big data analytics. They have had performance issues in the past with their previous analytics solution, and choosing Azure Data Warehouse and Azure Analysis Services on top helped them, gain more better insights in a quicker manner, and they didn't have to go optimize they didn't have to over provision or under provision using the on-prem appliances. So why are customers migrating, right? The top motivator is cost savings. So, and end of life machinery, example NetEaser, right? Customers want to move or migrate into the Azure Data Warehouse or into Azure because of the extended services that we have, the expansion that they want to actually go take advantage of. So they want to consolidate the platform and move to the Azure. And mainly Azure Data Warehouse has been one of the key pillars in supporting the data warehouses solutions. So how are customers migrating? The customers, either they offload their workloads or they completely migrate from on-prem. So in terms of the full migration, right, it involves schema, data, people, the applications. But one thing that you need to make sure you are taking time is on the ETL. I'll touch upon this in the next few slides. But ETL, you can actually, if it is offload scenario, that is, you are taking incrementally the workloads and moving them to the Azure Data Warehouse, you can gradually migrate your ETL packages. And I'll show you how you could do that. And then once you started to offload, long term, you can actually retire the original DW completely. So here is the migration process, right? First, you need to start off with assessment, right? Don't choose your architecture right away. First of all, understand the workload characteristics and what are the latency characteristics that you really want to gain out of your whole analytics solution. So for example, do you have data science type of workload, doing R, Python, right? Or do you have the interactive ad hoc queries, direct queries, or do you have real-time, near-time analytics as a part of the workloads today? Or do you want to actually achieve that using the new platform? So these are the things that would actually dictate what is the architecture that you need to choose. And what are the latency characteristics that you want, right? We would also, for example, do you want to have for example, a caching layer on top of data warehouse would also help you to gain more concurrent aspects of it, right? So the architecture would actually be a byproduct of your actual assessment of your workload and latency characteristics. You should also look into what is the infrastructure and security, what are the infrastructure and security requirements that you're looking for. So for a lot of our customers, the data privacy and security is one of the key requirements that comes into play, and it becomes critical when they are moving to the cloud. So with the data warehouse built on top of the rich SQL server engine, we naturally have certain security capabilities that come with the SQL engine. And also we have extended further. And I will actually drill down what are the capabilities that we've added beyond what's already available on the database or data warehouse today. Then once you have assessed your requirements, try to prepare in terms of, hey, do I need to convert some data types? And try to optimize basically your ETL packages, right? And define what is the success and success go and no-go criteria, right? And generally, we have had customers take the security reviews towards the end, right? So I would suggest front load that because the security reviews tend to go long. They want to understand not only from the capabilities perspective, how the data protection, how the access control, how authorization is happening, how the network security is. On their side, the security team also wants to know how we at Microsoft are operating on that data, right? How are we handling the data? How are we storing the data? Is it all part of it's all part of the GDPR compliance that we go adopt to on our side, but it's very important for you to front load that and ask the right questions, get the form filled, or have the calls with the account team or even us directly, and make sure you have the right data in place. Once you have prepared yourself, then start to migrate, right? We have various tools we will go look at in future in the slide in a minute. But we have a tool called SSMA, which would help you migrate right now from Oracle. But there are other mechanisms where you can go do this at this point in time. Once you have migrated your data, either you have offloaded it or fully, then start to optimize, tune based on your performance requirements. So for example, do not optimize for mostly optimize for the join predicates. So the way the data warehouse is built is it's a scale-out architecture with one control node and multiple compute nodes. And you can add as many compute resources as you want, up to 6,000, 4,000, 40,000 or 4,000, I have to look at, but until 30,000 C DWs today. So that will tell you, right? So in order for you to scale in, scale out, you need to understand what is your requirement first, and then I'll talk in the future slide on how to do that before I steal the thunder. So now I'll call upon Shamik to go into detail on the tool that we have that would help you to migrate from Oracle to SQL Data Warehouse.
Can you hear me? Great. I'm Shamik. I'm a product manager on the database migration team. A few of the things that my team does is build tools and services around database migrations, not only from on-premises to Azure targets, but also from on-prem to on-prem. The few scenarios that my team takes care of are moving data from Oracle, SAP ASE, which is formerly called Sybase, IBM DB2, MySQL, to any of our Azure targets. Our team also builds tools for NoSQL solutions, for example, going from Mongo to Cosmos and so on and so forth. So basically, the crux of it, for competitive migrations, we have this thing called the SQL Server Migration Assistant. I'm not sure how many of you have used it. A raise of hand would be nice to know how many, or at least a few. So this tool was essentially released about a decade ago with a conversion capability that would take a competitive platform syntax, let's say in Oracle's case, procedural SQL, PL SQL, and then convert that syntax into T-SQL when it does migrations. So it does schema movement. It'll take your table schemas, it'll take procedures, views, triggers, and we'll try and move it over to the target. Now, a year and a half ago, actually 2 years ago, we also announced the ability for it to start moving data to data warehouse. Now, the biggest thing for data movement is essentially the schemas have to move. You have to convert the schemas. Given that data warehouse schemas could be very complex, it just becomes a very mundane task for a DBA to go look at the schema and then generate scripts to be deployed onto Azure SQL Data Warehouse. So we build that capability inside of SSMA. And the way this SMA works is, if you look at it, it is based off of Oracle grammar. There's a parser that is based off of Oracle grammar. It essentially contains the Oracle programmability object. Essentially what that means is it understands the Oracle syntax. It understands all the grammar aspects of an Oracle database. Then you have an engine that creates an Oracle abstract syntax tree. Now, an abstract syntax tree is just an XML node representation of how a PL SQL is constructed. Once an abstract syntax tree is generated, then you take that syntax tree and apply conversion rules on it and get T-SQL. So basically, if you look at it, there's a create table statement in Oracle with a bunch of parameters. You would pass that into the engine, and you will create a T-SQL equivalent of the same. And I'll show all of that in a demo. And once you get the T-SQL script, you basically deploy it on the target, and that's pretty much it. And you generate the schema. So let's, as a side note though, we also introduced a way for people to build their own conversions. So for example, if you were to notice that some grammar cannot be converted, you could build your custom converter inside our SSMA extension and say, hey, convert this syntax specifically into a target syntax. And you could do all of that using our SDK. Then once you create the T-SQL syntax, most enterprises have source check-in, which essentially means you have to store your source into some repository, right? They just don't want a tool to be able to deploy that script. You can export that as an SSDT package, which is a SQL Server Data Tools package, and then store it inside your favorite source repository, and then deploy it later on. So with that, let me just show you a quick demo. Switch over. So the place to go to download this tool would be aka.ms/SSMA for Oracle. And I've already downloaded that tool here. Let me fire it up. So there are a few things and a few bells and whistles in the tool that you have to go take a look at. So we'll start off with the Tools menu. Let's click on the Tools menu really quickly and go to Default Project Settings. You have a bunch of targets to choose from. Because we're in a data warehouse session, let's talk about Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And then you have this thing called type mapping. So basically, you could do type mappings coming from a competitive platform, in our case, Oracle or Sybase or DB2. You can actually do type mappings and say, data type X represents data type Y on the target. So you could do it at the argument type level, column level, local variable level, and the return value level. On the graphical user interface, there is this thing called show report after conversion. I would set that to true so that you can get a report that you could take a look at and send it to your team to go make modifications if it is needed. So as you set this, the whole notion is you create a new project, and you choose data warehouse as a target, migration target. I hit OK. And then you start connecting to your source and your target. So if you look at it, there is a connect to Oracle source. I'm connecting to it. And right now I have an Oracle source running on my box, local machine. Let me connect to it really quickly. It should start extracting the schema and start understanding all the various objects that are there inside the schema, including stored procedures, views, and triggers. So let's just give it a couple of seconds. So at this point in time, it has read all the schema, and it's loading it. So if I expand the node here, I have this famous database called HR. It's actually a schema in Oracle. If you look at it, it has a few tables, it has views, it has some sequences, it has about 2 stored procedures. Now then I connect to the Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Now you can actually provision a data warehouse directly from here, but I've already provisioned one. So I'll connect to it. And as I'm connecting to it from the SSMA interface, let me actually go to the SQL Server Management Studio and show you that the database exists, but does not have any tables in it. Let's do a quick refresh. So no tables. If I go to programmability, there are no stored procedures. There's nothing. The schema is fairly empty. At this stage, the first step you need to do is you need to look at how you need to organize your tables inside Azure Data Warehouse. As my friend Kavita was mentioning, with creating a data warehouse, you need to understand how you should structure your data. Should it be a hash partition? Should it follow a round-robin mechanism? All of that actually depends on your predicates. If your query has a where clause, you need to really look at what that predicate object is to be able to specify that column as your hash partitioning. Now, let me go to tables. And under an option called Azure Data Warehouse, it takes a bit to load because it is evaluating all the schemas. Looks like it's not responding. We'll just give it a minute. All right, so it came back. You have the following tables, but you have the distribution type right here. You could either select everything to go round robin, or you could say, for employees, give me hash distribution, and then you can choose your column name. So in this case, let me take employees, let me take job history, and say, do a hash distribution of this. Now, once I set these parameters, let me right-click on that database inside of Oracle Explorer and do convert schema. And this is where the magic happens. This is where my previous diagram that showed you that we created an abstract syntax tree and we're doing a conversion, is all of that is happening at this very stage. I gave you a bunch of errors. It says about 72.54% can be converted. These are the various errors. I cannot convert X things. So again, the story is we don't guarantee 100% conversion because not everything can be converted as is. But you should be able to take a look at the report to understand what we can convert and what we cannot convert. So let's go back. And if you notice down in the window here, I have an HR schema created. You can look at the specific syntax by looking at tables. So let me actually go to the HR schema right here and choose a few tables, and you can start looking at the syntaxes. So you can look at the SQL syntax on the Oracle side. You can look at the SQL syntax on the Azure SQL Data Warehouse side. So at this stage, the tool has basically created the schema for you, and we want to deploy that schema over to Azure SQL Data Warehouse. I will choose that schema called HR, and I will synchronize with database. Let me highlight that option for you. Click Synchronize with database. So this will actually start pumping in that schema inside my target. So as it is doing its work, let's actually quickly enumerate the tables here one more time. And if you notice, it has already enumerated those for me. So remember, I chose a different distribution scheme for HR employees and HR job history. And you could see that with the visual representation on SSMS. Ones that use hash distribution don't have the yellow line going from the top left to the bottom right. So this is just the raw schema, and it does not have any data in it.
And what we are looking at is the DW instance.
And this is the DW instance, correct. This is not the Oracle instance, this is the DW instance. Now, the good thing is you necessarily don't have to use the tool. The tool uses the compute resources on this box. There are various other ways to load data once you get the schema, because schema is the most important part. Let's actually look at the stored procedures too. And you get the two stored procedures that were there from Oracle moved over to SQL Server as well. Now with that, let me just quickly try and move the data. So I don't have any rows if you look at it. This is the top 1,000. Now I'm using the same tool to migrate data. I just have to connect to my instance one more time. Hit connect. And let's refresh the screen. A few times. And see if the data starts coming in. Let's go back, take a look at the progress, and it says it failed. So let's take a look at why it failed. And these things bound to happen at demos for sure. Let me try and synchronize that with the database one more time. Okay. And this is the right database. Test. Let's see if the migration engine loads up. All right.
So to summarize here, right, what has happened? The table schema has been migrated. The data is distributed among the compute nodes based on the distribution key that you already chose, right? Is it hash versus round robin? So by default, it actually honors the scale at which the DW is running. Right?
That is correct. So if you choose the distribution type, it will honor that. Not only will it do that, it will also create a column store index for you by default for better performance. If you looked at it, it did move the data as well in the same time. And again, as I said, the important part is the schema movement because the schema manipulation takes a lot of time. But once the schema moves, there are various different ways to ingest data inside data warehouse, either using a data factory or using Polybase, and that's pretty much it. So if you really want to give this tool a try, go download it. We're actively developing it, so I want to make sure that all of you are able to use it and give us constructive feedback on what are the things that you would need in the tool that we can go improve.
So Shamik, a quick question, being a devil's advocate here. So what do customers need to do in order to rectify their errors? Do they need to now manually go and convert that data and then push this? Or what do they need to do to remediate this?
So if you go start looking at the logs, right, there'll be a bunch of things that it says that, hey, I'm not able to convert this data type correctly. And what that really means is we don't have an exact precision data type on the target for this. Now, the first thing that the database admin would have to go do is look at the precision of the data and say, this is a number data type in Oracle, which has a very high precision, but I'm not even using that high precision. So if it goes to float 53 in SQL Server, that's just fine, because it'll move all the data. But at a certain point in time, you will hit a product limitation if the exact data type representation is not there on the target. If a procedure cannot be converted because a syntax cannot be understood, you have to go look at that syntax and understand why it does not get converted. Of course, we have error messages that say, what is the manual remediation for it?
Right.
But I showed you in the process somewhere that you can build a custom converter. So if we were not able to convert it for you, right, you should be able to build your own custom converter inside that tool and convert it the way you would want to for those specific error messages.
This is great. So you pretty much touched upon the point that I raised. During the migration, most important aspect is paying attention to your ETL, and that's the most time-consuming aspect of it. So thank you so much, Shamik.
All right.
Great demo. So let's move on. Here are the partners that we have today. If some partner is not listed here, I apologize for that. So on the left side, you can see a bunch of data integration and migration partners, and rest of them are like SI and Azure-Analytics. So you can choose to work with them either through us or directly in terms of helping through the migration process. If you have any questions on that, just send me a mail, kavita.j@microsoft.com. My first name is already listed in the front of this, beginning of this slide deck. So let's actually get started on, first of all, I don't think everyone in the room already understands the strengths of SQL Data Warehouse today, Azure SQL Data Warehouse. How many already have tried, understood? Based on that, I can tune my, okay. So probably 2 or 3 folks. Okay, for the rest of the folks, here is a drill down, right? So SQL, as I said, SQL Azure Data Warehouse is a scale-out architecture with a compute and control and compute nodes. You can, on demand, right, scale up, scale down, without having to worry about creating yet another instance, right? At this point in time, you can choose up to with the generation 2 that has been built using the latest hardware innovations on Azure, NVMe architecture. It makes it much faster over Gen 1 that we have introduced in the past. We have 5x performance benefits, 5x scale. You can scale up to 30,000 DW units. And we have 4 times the concurrency that we had offered today until 128. So you can resize the compute in minutes at this point in time, and you can pause and resume on demand. You can also use Azure functions to go automatically do this pause and resume operations. And you can consume the compute and storage independently, right? The storage is stored off in the Azure blob storage. And as a result, it's bottomless. So you can store as much as possible. And in terms of security, we have a great defense in depth mechanism, right? From the capabilities perspective. We have, from network security perspective, we have VNet support. Right now we have service endpoints, which is like a service tunneling that is in preview mode. We are GAing soon. It's coming out soon. This has been one of the most awaited features. And we also have, yesterday, we announced the limited private preview of the interface endpoints, which is private IP. So customers have an issue in opening up their firewall to the internet to connect to SQL data warehouse or database. So now you can actually have the private IP. That way you don't have to punch a hole in your firewall. So which is, again, all the enterprise customers that we have actually worked with, most of them have been asking for this feature, and the feedback is heard. It's actually now in the limited private preview. So we announced that in the security talk yesterday. You have, for example, AAD on-prem, and you want to have that federation of the users. We support ADFS feature where you can integrate into the AAD seamlessly, right? And we also have the MFA support, multi-factor authentication, which is very important for a lot of customers. We also have the support for the conditional access. So in terms of the data protection, we offer TDE, both server managed and the customer bring your own keys. And we have integration with the Azure Key Vault today. So which was announced, the BYOK, bring your own key support has been announced probably in April or May this year. We also have auditing and threat detection capabilities, which are on par, almost on par with SQL DB. We have a little bit more work to do, and that's coming soon. It's in the release pipeline at this point in time, where not only at the server level, logical server level, but also at the data warehouse instance level, you'll be able to basically do the blob-based auditing. But overall, the threat detection, yesterday I showed those of you who attended the security demo, I showed how the threat detection comes handy in terms of detecting the anomalous activities, and also the vulnerability assessment is the capability we just announced during the Ignite for SQL Data Warehouse, where you can drill down, discover, and baseline your potential vulnerabilities on your data warehouse. In terms of excessive permissions to excessive surface area, and you can baseline it, remediate right then and there before it's exposed to the world. And in terms of the compliance, we have PCI, ISO, HIPAA, and such compliance on par with SQL database today. In terms of scalability, right? So as I said, you can scale up to 4,000 plus compute today and bottomless storage. So with the adaptive caching, so with tier 1, there was no caching layer sitting in the compute nodes. We had, for every query, hit, we had to go and get from the remote blob storage, and that had performance issues. With the tier 2, that is with the generation 2 that we have announced about 3 to 4 months ago, we have inbuilt local cache, adaptive caching, in such a way that the most used, highly used column store segments are stored locally on the compute nodes, and only upon cache miss, right, hit miss, it goes and gets from the remote storage. So that actually gives 5 times performance. And if you have seen Fivetran, how many of you have gone through the Fivetran blog or the Gigome blog? Seems like no one. So what they have done is they have done 10 terabyte. For example, Fivetran has announced 1 terabyte. And Gigome has done 10 terabyte benchmarks. The Fivetran, the TPDS, 1 terabyte benchmarks are showing that we are having the leading performance in the whole cloud data warehouse technologies or platforms across board. So we are beating our competitors as well in terms of that. So we are leading in terms of performance. And also perf and price-wise, we are better than other leading other cloud data warehouses today, which is great news, right? So instant data movement. So if you look at the architecture in depth, I did not really have the architecture diagram here. It is in the appendix, or it's hidden, because there were sessions earlier and I didn't want to repeat the content. But if you see, as Shamik was saying, when you are distributing your data in a hash or a round-robin fashion, and you have not really paid attention to what are your predicates, right, join and group by, and you have blindly went and distributed, you may actually end up in having the data skew in a way where some compute nodes have like too much data and others have not, right? And then they are not really balanced. In such a way, in such cases, you would actually see poor performance. And because there is so much of data movement going on, right? But in case you have to do, for some reasons, this instant data movement capability, the native shuffle, that's what we internally call, helps you at this point in time optimize from the performance point of view. Previously, it was done on the DW engine, but now it is native to the SQL engine itself, where the movement actually happens natively, as opposed to bulk insert that would actually take more performance hit. So we have 128 concurrent queries, 1024 connections are queued, and this is better concurrency when compared to other leading cloud providers. If you look at their documents, you would be surely surprised how, even though they say unlimited concurrency, it's not truly unlimited, right? Take the tip from there, who I'm talking about. In terms of enterprise grade, so the other strengths, right? Provisioning. It's automatic, so you can easily provision through our portal, and it takes just a few minutes. And you can also provision through programmatic manner, right? So we have the largest global presence. That's very important compared to other competitors we have here in this cloud data warehousing industry. In terms of statistics, so I will touch upon this in the next slide, but if you don't have the statistics in place, you will actually incur the performance impact. What we have today is automatic creation of statistics, and we released that a few months ago. So what's coming is auto update stats. That's in the pipeline. It's going through the release activities at this point in time. It will come in near future. I don't have the timelines that I can announce publicly at this point in time. But regardless, this actually gives better auto admin capability for you. And so maintenance windows have, so for example, whenever we are upgrading in our data centers, right, you as customers would have had in the past availability impact, right? You have asked us to open up maintenance windows. So what we did so far, we used to send manual notifications, and not manual, like automatic notifications, but we used to give you a fixed time frame based on our schedule. But now we have announced, just during this Ignite time frame, user-controlled maintenance windows. So by which, on the portal, you can actually choose when is the optimal time for you to go manage your upgrades, okay? And this gives you the availability, like less availability impact or no availability impact on your side. And in terms of tuning, right, you can basically, as I touched upon, the database distribution. So we have something called advisors, intelligent advisors, that is a mechanism for you to go look through on the portal to say, hey, here are the tables where you have data skew. Here are the tables where you don't have enough stats. So these advisors on the portal would enable you to go and help you tune further. In near future, right, we will make it much better, like zero. We will go towards North Star is zero administration, but we are getting there incrementally. And this is one step to get there. And in terms of the backup and restore, we have a geo backup going every so often, right, which is 8 hours. And so, sorry, every 24 hours. And what we announced during this conference, Ignite, is we also have user-defined restore points, which has been a most asked feature, right? You want to control when you want to take that restore, right? So this was another powerful thing. So given those, like there are many more strengths, and I didn't want to make this as a spiel for data warehouse strengths. But given that, so now it is very easy for you to correlate what I'm going to be saying in terms of the considerations. So when it comes to query, as I said, right, query and loading performance, you need to understand the architectural requirements on your side. Is it like traditional enterprise data warehouse, or is it the Lambda architecture that you want to actually put in place based on your workload patterns? In the case of the Lambda, you have your streaming in real time, near time, into like through Kafka or Event Hub, into the stream analytics or any other equivalent technology, and the hot path and serving, right? And you're doing some ML on top of it, and you pump that data and go merge that data into the SQL data warehouse and have like deeper on the colder data, have much more deeper insights built on top. It could be customer segmentation to trend analysis or anything that actually has like large, complex queries where you want to utilize the scale-out architecture and pump in how many ever resources on demand as you want and take that benefit from the scale-out architecture. So in terms of scale, so we've had customers, go and straight to the top or maximum DW, and then, okay, when the meters are clicking, they are like, what is this, right? So instead, start off your, like in the POC timeframe, the 1200, start off with 1200 DWC. The reason is you need to have some nodes out there in order for you to experience how is there any impact on the shuffle between the nodes, etc. So it is very important for you to first start off with that midpoint and scale up and down, right? Consider that during your exploration or POC phase. In terms of security, I already touched upon. Make sure you have the security sign-off in the beginning. So Azure ecosystem gives the richness of like compliance and security to an extent that if we already got you a sign-off from SQL data warehouse point of view, automatically a lot of other services would be basically also greenlit from your side, right? We have that authorization, authentication, access control, mostly applicable, and how we are handling the data internally using the incident management, change management, it could be how we are storing as per the GDPR compliance, to how we give access to our engineers and others to go access that data, right, through your approvals. All this is actually considered during the sign-off stage. So I've had so many customers ask these frequently asked questions to an extent that even though it's really lengthy, it's very important, and we are happy to see that these customers are thorough in going through these security sign-offs. In terms of the clients and workloads, based on whether it is homegrown, ETL or ELT packages, or already you have gone with some partner, I mean, make sure you put some thought around that, right? And you can also sync up with us in terms of partner recommendation or in terms of best practices to make it much easier for you. So here are the set of red herrings. I have had customers always, not always, I would say, hook up to the fact that, hey, concurrency, you have only, for example, 128 concurrent queries. Then this is not really sufficient for our workloads. So our answer to that is pivot on optimizing the query run, right? Query execution time. And as a result, you have the throughput automatically better. Instead of, being pivoting on the concurrency aspects of it. If you want, you can also have a caching layer on top of it for frequently hit queries. So we are also working on the result set caching that's coming in future. So that would also help you a lot. Because right now what we have is in the local cache, we have the column segment stored, right? So with the result set caching, you can start to see the result sets also cache, and that would increase much more performance-wise and concurrency-wise, the throughput-wise, it will be a better story for you. So in terms of and they also, like the customers also sometimes get hooked up to, hey, I'm on this data warehouse, I don't have equivalent feature parity, how do I go do that? So focus on your business requirements as opposed to, hey, this is not there versus, okay, this is what is blocking us. So work with us. We have sometimes mitigations. For most of the stuff, we have mitigations. And Azure platform is actually goodness, right? You have rich ecosystem with a lot of other services integrating very well with SQL Azure Data Warehouse. It could be Databricks to Azure Analytics Services, right, and the Power BI. So ensure you work with us if you are in doubt. So here are the best practices. I already talked, even Shamik has touched upon this. In terms of the loading, today we see about 6 terabyte per hour loading throughput, right, when you go via Polybase or SSIS feature pack or ADF. So under the covers, SSIS feature pack or ADF, they all go via Polybase. If you are comparing that with bulk copy or anything like insert into, instead of going from the control layer and getting the load pushed down, Polybase works or executes at runtime on the compute nodes in parallel. Right? So this gives you your great throughput and the performance improvements. And so our advice to you is start off with medium or large RC when you're trying to load your data. Otherwise, what happens is you may run into the poor column store segments, and you have to live with them for however long the tables are. So you need to ensure to get better performance for queries, start off with the medium or large RC. And as I said, optimize your distribution for joins and group bys so that there is not too much of data skew. So that's very important for you. And statistics are very critical for query performance. Right? Take extra care with large tables. And we have had customers with like billions of rows in some tables, and here is where, right, the statistics become very critical, right? And they have had performance issues. They opened the case, and guess what? We saw there are no updated statistics. So even after we release the auto update stats, it's very critical for you to see, because by default we optimize for smaller statistic results, I would say sample set, right? So choose about the right sample set size in a way where you get better query plans under the covers. And so hence you need to choose a sample set, and sometimes you have to work up to get better statistics and better performance of your queries. If you have any problems, feel free to work with us. and we'll guide you in terms of that. Okay, so in terms of the best practices for scaling, as I said, start off with like 1500 C and move up, down. Generally, for those who don't know what the DW or DWU stands for, it's more the I/O, CPU, and memory characteristics associated with each of these queues, right? And if you are still running into any issues, yeah, we will be able to help you figure out what is the issue under the covers. But make sure you understand that don't start off with the max and work down. So start off with the midpoint. Like 1500 C is good enough. So in terms of the workloads or clients, so if you already have the bad queries, they don't really automatically get migrated and then become good queries, right? You need to basically understand what are the underlying factors. Are the statistics missing? Is the skew there? Or you have not really distributed very well. So the automatic tuning advisors on the portal would also help you to a large degree so that you don't have to really work with us on that. But so you have to pay good attention on that. So in terms of the security, we've had customers ask for row-level security. And I have one gentleman here. We talked about at length yesterday on how RLS is important. So good news is RLS is something that's in progress right now from active development point of view. It's coming soon. We have filter predicates coming as the first phase, and the block predicates where it will block your write access. That's actually coming later on. So in terms of the VNet capability, a lot of customers actually get blocked by the fact that, hey, you don't have VNet, but VNet, virtual network service endpoints, are GAing. We have a preview right now, GAing by the end of this year, which is also a good news. And we have also announced, as I said earlier, the limited private preview of the private IP, which is the most awaited feature and highly asked feature on our side. So that is also very good news, right? So in terms of, so how are we doing on the time? Okay, we have enough time. In terms of the session resources, here are the ones. So I advise you to, email us. If you have any other data migration needs, ask. Do I have this here? I don't have. So ask SQL DW at Microsoft.com is yet another way to reach us. That would help you. The alias has a bunch of data warehouse experts. We would be helping you in terms of migration or any other question that comes up as part of the migration process and or beyond. So one thing that I wanted to let you know is, hey, there are a whole bunch of customers that really don't have a notion of what is my sizing calculator? Where is my sizing calculator? So here is something that we will make it public. We have this internal at this point in time, but this is an avenue for me to project the slide, which gives you good recommendations in terms of the data set size to the maximum concurrency in terms of the SKUs, right? This is there for you to refer. And these are the other Ignite sessions that I recommend you go attend. If you have already missed those, then attend at least the ones that are in future. So there is a 1,000 customer success stories session at 4:30. I recommend you to go see how customers are choosing SQL DW, why they are choosing, like how I have said in the beginning of this session. So with this, I would like to open up for Q&A. And Shamik, you want to come on the stage as well? So any questions, folks?
First one is, we're a customer right now. And in your planning side, right, if you look at your modern data warehouse flow,
okay,
right from data ingestion, processing, to serving, the entire mechanism is different. It's very hard to predict cost. Be it ADF1 or ADF2 continuous uploads, whether you use Databricks or you use ADLA nodes or you use HDI nodes, your query time, and number of units required to perform at the same level. What recommendations do you have for that? Second one was the VNet and the presentation. The updated diagram only shows access through the ADW. Is that the modern architecture, or because we have cases where we go to ADW, we go directly to ADLS or HDI?
Okay.
What's the process?
Okay, so I can start with the second one. I think everyone heard because he's on the mic. In terms of the VNet capability, so yes, I'm representing the SQL DW at this point in time. Yeah, we do have the support for Azure Analysis Services. For example, you need to have a gateway spun up in the VNet context, right? And then through gateway, you can access the Power BI or AAS. So Power BI is actually working on, in their roadmap, the VNet support. So I don't want to actually steal the thunder at this point. In terms of HD Insight already can be spun up within the VNet. So that's not actually a problem. And probably even Databricks, right? Yep. Okay. So in terms of the first one, that's actually a good question. You are looking at it end to end. How do I predict the cost? So what I have at this point in time is, hey, here is the DW. So here is the on-prem appliance or some sort of data source, and I'm migrating. And how do I project? So that I can actually answer. But in order for you to see the pipeline across, how is the cost balanced? So for that, let me actually dig deep. And if you can connect up after the session, I should be able to connect up with you offline. Okay? So, okay, sounds good. Any other questions? Please, yeah.
Thanks. 2 questions. Would you include Databricks as a data ingestion tool? Because I saw in your one slide you had SSIS, ADF, not Databricks, but it seems like Databricks would be a really good tool for ingestion.
Right. So if you see my first slide, right, the Databricks is used for transformation, right, and cleanup of the data. So you can merge unstructured and structured data, process it, and before you load into the into the Azure Data Warehouse, that's actually a great service, and that is what we recommend as part of the modern data warehouse architecture for your needs.
Awesome. And then my second question is...
One quick thing, and one thing, sorry,
That's okay.
I would like to take an opportunity to spend a minute on the real-time streaming blog that we have just announced, right? So with Databricks and Data Warehouse, now through the richness of Databricks streaming capability, you can stream real-time into the Data Warehouse as well. So you should follow up on that blog.
I will. Then my other question is, with row-level security coming up, before that's available, you could use views.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how would you compare the pros and cons of views versus row-level security? So let's just say I'm not spinning up my data warehouse until next year. If I have the choice between the two, RLS or views, which should I pick and why?
So yes, the views is actually definitely a workaround, right? But with the views, it becomes complex for you to now grant access to various users and roles on the views, and it becomes really hard for different queries. And how do you actually go write so many views? It's hard to manage these. So I would recommend the native support for RLS over the views. And native support would actually, in a nutshell, you can have a security policy defined. And that security policy can be as complex as joining between various tables in order for it to determine who is the user context, who is the user, and then grant the permissions, like for example, patients or doctors who are allowed to just view or access the data in only their wing or only their section of the hospital. That scenario can easily be done using the RLS today. And yeah, that's a good question. So I would prefer RLS over the views. Yeah, unless you don't want to choose, that's a separate story, and maintain the views and user groups. Any other question?
All right.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Appreciate your, yeah.